Hello and welcome everybody to this month's exciting and boring topic, the depth of the warm-up exercises. Yes, so let me start with introducing my team. I'm going to start with Evan, who in charge of the technical aspects and controlling the workshop.
Hi, everyone. It's great to welcome everyone back for another month. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat for either me or all the panel. Welcome.
Thank you. And in case you notice any new energy with the Tai Chi for Health Institute, Evan is the new CEO who put a lot of energy and time into the Institute's affair. And then Pat Lawson is my manager in USA workshops. Hi, Pat. Pat is going to be a speaker, so I introduce her further later. And Ernie, everybody would know Ernie. She doesn't need any introduction. You must have talked to her somewhere, and she just such great, enthusiastic, and efficient. Uh, our colleagues who help everybody and everywhere, and always great help to the forum. And Ernie, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Dr. Lam, for your kind words. Hello, everyone. It's exciting to see you again. We've been doing this for nearly 4 years. Can you imagine? Put your questions and comments into the chat boxes that Evan has already mentioned. And when we get to the question and answer part for Dr. Lam and our speakers, we'll get to that as we can. So enjoy.
Thank you, Ernie. And yeah, over 4 years, we cover many, many topics, and every forum's being recorded, and all these topics are listed on the website. Of course, you know our institute's website, so you can go back to it, and maybe some of them uh, worth exploring the depth of that particular topic. But nonetheless, just about any topic that you suggest, we have gone through the forum, and that's really great. Um, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about the topic. Uh, the topics are suggests from any participants, anybody, and then we decide, our team get together and decide uh, what. So this topic is interesting. Just about every instructors have questions about warm-up exercise, and people always started with just thinking doing the movements. So it's really interesting to spend time talking about it. Um, and then, so I'm going to introduce the speakers. Ronnie's going to talk first, and then Pat, and then me to sort of sum up. And when we finish our talks, then they'll be open for questions. The question that you put in beforehand will come first, and then after that, we're open for everyone's question. And if there's time, we do a meeting people from different parts of the world or different parts of USA. If we have time, we will build a small group to meet each other. So uh, Ronnie is a master trainer probably from day one, and also I met her in probably the first workshop. Uh, Similarly to Pat, when I go to USA, the very first workshop was hosted by Pat. So that is quite a happy coincidence. So I worked with Pat and Ronnie for a long, long time. And both of them, like me, we've been teaching Tai Chi for uh, probably shouldn't tell you how many years. Um, but uh, and I always admire them because their innovative thinking, their experience, and Rani come with her um, Western health professionals experience as a occupational therapy. Pat is a teacher, so but you both have wonderful, innovative ideas about Tai Chi. So I'm going to uh, um, Ronnie. speak first? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for the warm introduction. I'm delighted to be with you all here today. So before we actually stand up and start our warm-ups, I love the little contemplation about I've been doing these particular warm-ups for 15 years or however long they've been around. And why doesn't boredom arise? Because we often think, oh, we do the same old thing. But actually, we're never doing the same thing. Every time we do the warm-ups, it's fresh and new. It brings us into the present moment. So when we look at the flow theory of boredom, if we increase our challenge, boredom goes down. So if we ever start to feel a little bit bored in our classes, we need to think, how can I increase the challenge of these warm-ups? And that's some of the things I'd like to share with you today. So as we go through, please listen to your bodies. I have no idea what sort of body you have this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you might be across the globe. You're welcome to do the warm-up seated or standing. I'm going to do mine standing. So let's begin. Okay. So in our standing posture, we need to just feel down into the feet. I'm from Australia, you can tell from my accent. We often think about the position of the body as though we're a kangaroo sitting on its tail. So then we actually are sitting down. Our feet are shoulder width apart, soft hips, knees and ankles, and yet there's a beautiful thread holding us up from above. We know our very first exercise is to walk around and say hello to everyone. So as we're on Zoom together, I like us to really contemplate the extension of the fingers. Can I get equal spaces between my fingers and relax? Extending the fingers and relax. As an occupational therapist, I know that the grasping or the closing of the hand muscles are very strong. So this is really working those opposite groups of muscles to extend and release. And it's nice to breathe in and it's nice to breathe out. Well done. So back to our standing posture. We know the warm-ups are starting at our neck. So we'll start our neck exercise. So the hands are just resting at the front of the thighs. Let's bring the hands up. And remember, it's a neck exercise, so we're watching the fingers as they rise. We turn the hands and sinking our chin in as we sink the elbows. We turn, we gently push forward and lowering our neck, lowering our arms. Okay, it's probably how we've been doing them. Let's think about our arm as a seesaw. So with a seesaw, that it's, in children's playground, there's a seesaw. If one child sits on one end, the seesaw goes up. And if a child sits on the other end, the seesaw goes down. So imagine your arm is a seesaw. When you relax your shoulders, that's how the arm comes up. So imagine it's just here I've got something, this is my remote control for my heater today. So if my shoulder is here, my shoulder goes down, my arm has to go up, they're connected. So let's try that, thinking about the seesaw of the arms. So focus, sinking your shoulders. That's how the hand floats up. Turn the hands and tucking our chin in. Beautiful. Turn the palms. Gently push. Lowering our neck. Lowering our arms. Let's try that once more. Arms floating up. We're sinking our shoulders. Lovely. Soft fingers. Lovely. Turn. Tucking our chin in. Gently pushing forward. Lowering the neck, lowering the arms. Let's move to the second one for the neck, arms floating up. I'll try to be a mirror. We often start on the left side, so turning the left hand down, right hand at the hip. So we know the fingers are no higher than the shoulders. The first one is only about 70%. We're looking beyond the fingers. We come back. I like to change in the center. The yin becomes a yang. The lower hand becomes the upper hand. Good. And turning the neck. And moving back. Excellent. Changing over. We often pay so much attention to this upper hand. I want you to think about the lao gu, or the center of the palm on the non-dominant hand. So pushing the palm down. Then we engage our core. So gently pushing down near the hip and turning the neck. Can you feel how your stomach and your back might be involved? Those core muscles. Beautiful. One hand up, one hand down. Always listening to our bodies. Gently pushing down through the lao gong. It's still bent a little, and turning our neck. Let's do one more either side. Really feeling into that gentle pushing down as we turn our neck. Changing over, last. Gently pushing down as we turn. And back. Fabulous. Next one for the shoulders. The fingers are actually touching the thighs. That's your gallbladder meridian. So we're going to roll our shoulders forward. And then we're drawing circles on our thighs by rolling the shoulders forward. That's it. Keeping the hands touching the thighs encourages the shoulders to do the action and not the elbows. That looks great. Let's go backwards. Rolling the shoulders backwards. Excellent. Backwards. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Last one, rolling the shoulders backwards. Okay, the next one, gathering the chi, palms up, arms around an imaginary ball, at shoulder height, and then sinking into your hips, your knees, your ankles, and the hands lower down. I imagine the pivot point is the third finger. So imagine your third finger is a screw into the earth, or another way of saying that is we roll our thumbs out. That looks great. Arms rise. And gently sinking down. Good. When I use that middle finger as a pivot point, it means my shoulder is doing the action. I'm not just relying on a wrist or an elbow. So the whole shoulder is turning, teaching my body to move as an integrated unit. Lovely. Sinking down. If I did it side on, you can actually see rolling out. It's a more forward action than when I first learned or thought about it. So sinking down. Well done. The next one is for the spine. Let's hold the ball. Let's have the left hand in front of the heart, right hand underneath. Heaven and earth. Bottom hand comes up. You can see that martial arts block. Palms up, palms down, stretching and change. Good. So the bottom hand up, top hand down, lengthening up and lengthening down. Terrific. So this is for the spine. What we're trying to do is pull the top of the spine up and the base down. I imagine my jacket here, probably a lighter jacket's better. Here we go. My jacket here. With this heaven and earth, I'm actually stretching the top of my jacket up, but I'm also stretching the bottom of my jacket down. This is my spine during that exercise. Can you feel? Can you see? We're stretching in the two directions. A lot of people remember to stretch up, but we also need to stretch down. Let's try that with that image in our mind, in our spine. Bottom hand up. Rotate, so feel that stretching of the spine up and down. Beautiful, lovely. Again, only having the top hand as high as is comfortable. If it's not comfortable up there, push forward or whatever feels right for you today. Last one, either side, stretching up, and down. Fabulous. We've probably got the right hand on top. So tuning our nose and navel, and that's what turns the arms. We roll the ball, turning the nose and navel. Beautiful. And roll. So let's check ourselves. I don't want my kneecaps moving. I've got the nose and the navel. I'm turning from dantian. The kneecaps are not moving. They only move from leg to leg. Excellent. Seeing some really good Tai Chi today. That's terrific to see. Roll the ball. Turn. Excellent. Good. Are you breathing? Please keep breathing. I can see you all focusing so well. Excellent. And we'll just relax. Have a shake there. Thank you all. I'll pass over to Pat.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. That was great. Now I'm going to introduce Pat. As I mentioned before, very first Tai Chi workshop was conducted in Florida, where Pat is, and she's the only coordinator. I actually stay in her home for a number of times and get to know the family. We really bond really well. Pat's an amazing lady. With all these years we worked together, and she's just such a wonderful educator. But most importantly, she has so much experience in martial art, especially in Tai Chi, and she have amazing understanding of Tai Chi. So it's great to hear her for the continue next few on the warm-up exercises. And Pat, please join me to welcome her.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that warm welcome. And to everyone, I know that every one of you made time and made an effort to be here. And thank you for sharing that. And I hope that you'll share your ideas too when there's time later on. I've enjoyed really great relationships with my own participants in my classes. We've become close, we've become a community, and they are very comfortable being honest with me, which I'm grateful for, but it's like, be careful what you wish for. So I noticed, this is going back many years when I was a younger instructor, I noticed that a group of ladies were consistently starting to come 10 minutes late to every class. And after class one day, I was chatting with one of them to try to find out what was wrong. And she said, quite honestly, she said, well, we're not really missing anything. So we figured we might as well, we're all rushed in the morning. We might as well come a little late because all we miss are the warm-ups and they're the same. So, I tried not to show my expression, but I was a little shocked. But it was a big teaching moment for myself. How can I, as an instructor, share what I'm discovering about the depth of these warm-ups with my class? How can I be a better teacher? So that's what I want to spark in you, some thinking on how you can improve class engagement and how you can become a more effective instructor by spending a little time examining the warm-ups yourself. In my classes, in Tai Chi, we always talk about the layers of the onion and unpeeling an onion and how many layers it has, and always something new. There's layers in the warm-ups also. And as I thought about it, I realized that there's consistent compatibility between the warm-ups and the Tai Chi sets that we were working on and playing with. The concepts in the warm-up supported the Tai Chi improvement. The Tai Chi discoveries and concepts were consistent and compatible with the warm-ups. They were reinforcing each other. So an instructor always, I believe, is assessing, what does my class need? Where are we a little weak? Or where do I want to give them that extra encouragement because they're doing so well with it? What is it where are we ready to move on? So when you have one area that you're thinking of, you can use the warm-up sequence to focus on that one area. For example, in the beginning, most of us, speaking from my own experience, I had to really work on posture. I thought I was straight and I thought my posture was good. And when Dr. Lam said, well, stand sideways and look in the mirror, I realized how much work I had to do. He didn't even have to tell me. He just said, look in the mirror. So in the warm-up, sometimes I have people turn sideways while they're doing one of the warm-ups, and I ask them to just glance every now and then and check if their shoulders are over their hips. It's a great time for gentle cueing and for encouraging participants to self-correct on something more basic and simple, something perhaps more physical like posture. If you think of the physical first as maybe the first layer to explore, the warm-ups are gently stretching the joint, improving circulation. The joint starts to release synovial fluid, and it circulates around the joint, increasing mobility. We can also look at postural correction, as I said, look at proper alignment of the knees over the feet. If you think of step and punch, which we didn't do yet with Ronnie, but just the step and punch with loose fists, nice and relaxed. And when people put one foot out and slowly switch the weight, this is a great opportunity. Depending on what you're working on, are you going to work on awareness of the weight transfer? Where is that weight? Are you going to work on keeping the joints relaxed, a little bit of flex in the elbow? Or maybe you're going to cue people to glance down and make sure they can still see their toes. If you cannot see your toes when you glance down, the knee is overextended. That would be here for me. I can't see the toe anymore. My knee is too far forward. So just that one step and punch warm-up can be used to touch on a lot of different concepts. Slow, smooth, continuous motion is another one. I sometimes think of them like little gift boxes. Each warm-up exercise is a tiny little gift box, and it can stand alone. But it has so much. It has so much to appreciate in there. It has many different points, each of these. It's a good opportunity to highlight the principles. And if you can add in some imagery, then it makes it even richer. It really helped me watching Ronnie use her jacket and show the weight on the bottom as well as the stretch on the top. That was, I'm going to carry that. You can think of being inside a bowl of Jell-O that's not quite hardened up yet, just a little bit resistant. So maybe you're doing the spinal stretch, and you want to use that idea of a Jell-O bowl, a little resistance between your palms, or you might want to think of pushing a bubble pushing the bubble out, which can also happen with this one. Just wanting to keep the edge of the bubble away from your body, not break it, make it just a little bit wider, just a gentle, gentle expansion from within. So we're getting a little bit deeper. We're getting more internal with some of those thoughts. And you can go even on to mental serenity and give people a thought or a meditative saying at the beginning of class to keep in mind. If the class has been practicing a long time, you could suggest that they notice their breath in coordination with the movement. That's an interesting thought too. Store energy and release energy. So where is that happening? Where am I storing and delivering? And relax with the energy. Now, I'm not suggesting that you would bring all of that up at any one time. Take your time, but these could be tools in your toolbox to make your classes interesting, and in particular, the warm-ups. If people start to realize that there's a different thought, concept, or image with the warm-ups each class, then you might not have that problem I had where people were viewing it as we might as well come late because it's only the warm-ups. Instead, the warm-ups start to really reinforce and help the advancement of the Tai Chi journey. The spinal warm-up is such a good one to think of. I learned that first, this one, in 1996, before I met Dr. Lam at Shaolin Monastery, when I took Qigong classes with one of the monks. And it's part of the 8 pieces of brocade, Ba Dua Jin. And that's where I first learned it. And to me, it's so full, not only of feeling the physical expansion, but also thinking of energy connection, the palms, those powerful Lao Gong points passing, the center channel of the body, lifting my large neck bone to correct my posture, dropping my tailbone. There's so much just in pressing heaven and earth that can be used for whatever you want your class to be focusing on. Just remember that the learning theory is that people can't remember very many things at a time. And I know I've thrown out an awful lot of points right here now. We can't remember all of that, but if you can focus on one thing that will help them with something that you want the class to be conscious of, and then after whatever period of time you decide as an instructor, months, days, weeks, years, it's totally up to you how you play with it. Just one of these exercises, this one, or you could pick any of them. Postural correction, slow, smooth, continuous, moving against a gentle resistance, breath with movement, songing the joints, and of course, Jing, the mental serenity from focusing. I think the warm-ups make a really nice transition piece from the outside world. When people leave the outside world to come do class, there's this transition, and a little bit of time is necessary for them to come inside themselves and work on their Tai Chi. So it isn't so much a case of, do the warm-ups have depth? It's more a case of, how deep do you want to dig? And that's up to you as an instructor. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. That's well. Let me say first of all, Pat's live example of people coming late. I didn't ask my participants. Maybe they have the same reason. They just missed the warm up, and that is really good example for us to think further. And I felt that both Pat and Ronnie, in some way, were talking in their own special way of the principles that in warm up, incorporating the principles. And Rani, being an OT, I love the way she got to the little finger, to the shoulder. It's very easy to understand and to follow. And I thought maybe you're not familiar with the idea of flow. Idea of flow is it's based on a lot of research. When people are fully engaged in what they're doing, they perform the best. And the people who are in flow more often tend to be happier and more fulfilled people. That's based on immense amount of study. Um, the, the, um, the doctor who did the study worked on 10,000 people, and he gave everybody one of those bells, and every couple of hours or so, he rang the bell, and they had to stop what they're doing and write down what they're doing, how they feel, and so on. And 10,000 people is a huge research. It's immense. And his work was amazing. So when Ronnie's saying about boredom, that's so important, when you do something that is too easy, just like pet students think that warm up is just a piece of cake, do it every day, then it's boring. And when you're doing boring things, you don't get engaged. You're not in flow so much. You don't get as much. When you're fully engaged, you are fully live your life. You get more out of it and you perform better and think better. So when your skill match well with the task, so the task is too easy, you lost interest, then you're not in flow. When the task is too challenging, it put you off. No, there's no way I can do that. I can never going to learn how to fly, so don't bother about that. Then you never get engaged thinking about how you're going to fly in the air. But when the challenge and your skill are matched, that you have to be slightly challenged, but you could do it. That's when you do your best being engaged. And that's, in a way, is what Tai Chi is about. Tai Chi has so much depth. The principles that we went through, there's so much depth in Tai Chi that I've been doing it for by now nearly 50 years. And yes, I do the warm up every time beforehand. It would have been boring if I don't do what Rodney and Pat talk about. And so the purpose of the warm up, when we create a warm up, the first purpose is to prevent injury. Second is to get your body not just physically ready to prevent injury, but also mentally ready to be here to do Tai Chi, put it in that form. And the way we created the warm-up exercise is typical of what Tai Chi for Health do. We make a very complex art of Tai Chi and bring it to a set that is easy to learn, relatively easy to learn, and give you lots of health benefit and very safe. And at the same time, incorporate all the Tai Chi principles, like the warm-up exercise that I do it for all these years and not bored because there's principles, and then I can use my imaginations. I can, every time it's different. So it's not the same boring thing. I move my hands. And that is, in a way, how we create the Tai Chi for Health program. Every program takes a year or two to create, and they're so simple. From the simplicity, we want to have the best, most suitable, and most effective movement, putting together the most effective sequence So the warm-up exercise talk us about a year, mostly me, but I listen to everybody and work with everybody. And it took a year to put together. That's seemingly simple, but it does incorporate principles, allow you to use imagination, allow you to song your joints, allow you to do that. So in a way, when you look at the Tai Chi principles itself contains so much depth. And that's why each time you do warm up or each time you do the Tai Chi set, you can be refreshing, new. There is one thing I hope I done enough to sort of summarize, but all this is a recording. So when you look at it again, I think you'll get newer understanding. But one thing though, we're talking about 1, 2, 3 warm up. I guess I forgot to say that also include the cooling down exercises. There's 3. So, 1 is walking around, loosening up, getting ready. 2 is to stretch up the body from the top down. 3 is cooling down exercises. So why do we want cooling down exercises? First of all, it is to prevent injury. Secondly, the cooling down exercises is shown by studies that actually it helps you to retain what you've done. If you, before you finish all your exercises, to do part of what you did before, it helps you to retain what you went through. So one of the cooling down exercises that sort of help us to cool down our joints, especially the legs that we use a lot of, and say, coming with the breathing, and I'll come back to that. But this is what we did early on the shoulder. So the cooling down, even though just 3 very simple movements, it helps us to retain what we have done throughout, from the beginning to the end. And so I would prefer my participants to come on time and never leave early, because I also want them to do 1, 2, 3 as well. And the thing about breathing, and I think both Pat and Ronnie touched on that, and I'd like you to go back and look at just about everything we talk about the dantian breathing. That is so useful. I think it's so important part of Tai Chi. Breath is life. The dantian breathing is the most effective to build your chi in cooperation with all the other principles and all the movements. But bearing in mind, like Ronnie was saying, you don't do everything. You cannot do everything perfect. And you cannot do the dantian breathing all the time. But every now and then, if you can breathe in, breathe out as you stretch, breathe in as you gather. And that also comes with delivering force. In-breath is gathering energy. Out-breath is delivering force. So in-breath is moving up. Out-breath is pressing down. And coming closer is the in-breath. Going away is the out-breath. So when you think about one aspect at a time, incorporate it to your warm-up, it's going to be different and it's going to be deeper, and it's something that just in case you don't know me well, I went through a lot of things in my life. I used to think I'm really dumb, was poorly educated, and then I ended up in university, and then I discovered that I thought I wasn't so dumb, and then I got really impatient, especially you go through medicine and you start treating patients. I trained doctors for 30 years. Most doctors, actually I would say almost all doctors that I train, they're relatively higher in the so-called intelligence, in the measurement. They all get good marks from their students to get into medical course. Like you got to be top like 1% or something like that to get into medicine. So they are sort of smart, I think. And most patients are average, okay? 100%, most people are average. So you have guys who think faster, and you have average patient talking about the cold. It's easy to get impatient. It's easy to think, yeah, there's nothing. I don't care about that. I can do this. And so I went through phase of being impatient, and I really thank Tai Chi to help me to really feel life more and put me on the ground and to give me more confidence in myself. And when I feel confident in myself, I become much more patient. And I don't see people as 50% or 90% or the bottom percent. Everyone has something wonderful and great to respect to. And that's like Tai Chi. Every movement has beautiful depth to it that you can explore and feel and gain from it, and making it so much more interesting, which I hope you will do, is to explore the warm-up exercise, enjoy it, engage with it, and let us know how you feel after that. So that's my talk. I think we're ready for questions. I think if you have questions, put it in chat or leave your hands. Evan or Ernie, who's going to monitor the questions? Or is there any questions?
I will.
Thank you,
I will
Ernie.
watch for that. Does you have an experience from your own teaching that relates to what our topic is today? Any experience, anything that has come out from your participants in your classes that you would like to share with us? Now would be the time. Okay, we see one here, Dr. Lam, about any suggested modifications for conditions such as limited shoulder range, spinal fusions, and so on. Ronnie might have an answer to that, as well as Dr. Lam and Pat, of course.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Ronnie's first. That's your specialty too.
Okay. I guess that there's those universal precautions around getting people to listen to their own body, that if they don't have that range of movement, they need to work out what feels right for them. I guess for us as the instructor, for us to have a few ideas that instead of pushing up, we can actually push forward. And if we scatter some of these ideas, in our classes, I think that's really useful. So the concept of the spine is still the same, that lengthening of the spine, but whether the arm is pushing up or whether the arm is pushing forward doesn't really matter. So I guess it's those universal precautions of listening to your body, but you offering an alternative. I think another alternative that we often forget to mention, or sometimes I forget, is visualization. We often feel that visualization is sort of an added extra. Does it really work? It works. As an OT student, I remember a story where we had to look at the electrical impulse in this muscle here as we were drinking a cup of coffee. So we had a little machine that felt that actually moved how do I describe this? The machine was measuring the impulse in the muscle as we were bringing the hand up to the mouth. It was looking at a stroke sort of rehab. And so we got people to measure the amount of impulse in the muscle when they did that. And then we got people to visualize, not actually move the arm, but visualize the same action and to see what happened on the reader of the electrical impulse into the muscles. And I did it on my own body. Otherwise, I don't think I'd believe it. but actually it was the same amount of impulse into the muscle, whether I physically moved my arm or whether I visualized moving my arm. So the take-home message is not just sit and visualize all of Tai Chi, no, but the take-home message is that visualization is such a powerful tool. And maybe we are working with someone who's had a stroke and can't move their arm. Get them to really visualize. It's rewiring the brain. And it's keeping the body in the mind. There's a thing called the homunculus man. It's the image of the body in the mind. It's keeping the body integrated. So we're not sort of losing parts of the body. So that's some initial thoughts.
Well, thank you, Ronnie. I'll say I did all that visualization, so important. Helga have raised your hands.
Yes. Go ahead, Helga.
I need to unmute. Yes, I have a question. I just joined a new exercise group for elderly in the little village where I was moved to. And the instructor always asks people to, look upwards, tilt your head backwards, do, show head rolls and everything. And I understood from Dr. Lam, especially when we do push heaven and earth, people tend to look upwards or, tilt their head back. And my understanding was that this is actually dangerous for elderly people, especially because there's an artery up the back and that could get squished. But I wonder whether you could please just elaborate on that a little bit. So when I talk to the instructor about it, I know what to say.
Sure. Unfortunately, even exercise experts do not always know all the answers. And if you really think about it, if you look up suddenly, it can make you dizzy.
Mhm.
Especially, this is more so for elderly people, that the risk is there. Apart from that, of course, the neck has really intricate muscles, and it's one way to crush the disc in the cervical part. And that's where visualization comes in. Stretching backwards, that exercise that extends the muscle, that helps you if you have to. But we don't do it in exercise session because it's a high risk. And using visualization to think, I'm looking up and visualize your turning, then your muscles get to move, like Ronnie was saying, and it's still safe. Yes, just because someone's teaching something doesn't mean they always know. Let me tell you, when I reach out to the Tai Chi world, and I found so many Tai Chi instructors do not understand teaching safely. And part of that is because their research on the sport medical science, that research from different areas, they keep not keeping up to it. So Pat has something to say, please.
I could feel it when you were saying that, Helga. I herniated my first cervical disc. I wasn't even 40 yet. So it's not just for elderly, and I didn't herniate it doing this exercise, but I had started martial arts many years prior to that, 20 years at least, 22 years before I herniated the first disc. But they did in the old days all kinds of bad exercises that we now know are risky. What I do, I think it's really better if people realize it on their own when they get intrinsic motivation. I see it in my classes, even though I say to picture your large neck bone picking up, but there's still maybe one or two people who start to tilt back. So I have the whole class take 3 fingers and I tell them to lay it just above the large neck bone where your neck has that curve. And I say, now look up. And what do you start? Don't do anything that hurts. Stop before it hurts. But what do you feel? And I feel my fingers getting squished. And that's what people usually say. If you lay the fingers right there and look up, the fingers squish. And then I say, it's crushing some of the discs. And if you have arthritis in your neck, maybe you don't even know you have it. It could be very risky. I didn't even know the part about the artery and all of that. But when they feel this, they go, oh, okay. So that's just one thought. And if I were you, sometimes I go visit a class and somebody's giving an instruction on something I know I shouldn't do, a Qigong class or something, where they haven't come through our system, and I just don't do it. I know it could hurt me, so I just don't do it. And I don't like to argue with anybody about what they're doing, but if they feel it, sometimes they get the point.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Helga, for that question. I thought this is a good time for me to talk a little bit more general about balance. Tai Chi is about balance, mental, physical, mind body balance, and also balance the body, balance of different muscles. And life is a matter of balance. If you don't do anything, you probably don't get injury, but your body will be so atrophic that you won't be able to do anything. So where's the line? I mean, there is a study for people with end-stage angina. Angina is pain of the heart when there's not enough blood going through the artery that supply the heart. And there are different levels of angina. And I won't go give you a medical lecture, but just the worst case of angina is that when the arteries are so narrow, they can sit there and get angina. So this is what we call end stage. Their heart's really bad. And some of them are not suitable for operation. That's the bypass surgery does. Some of them are not even suitable. So for those people, that is really, really bad. You can just imagine. And there's a study, we give them appropriate gentle exercise, then no exercise. It's a risk because they sit there and they get angina. Any exercise can give them angina, but the most reasonable, least risk, but still risk exercise, and compare with the other group who did nothing, just sit there, watch TV with the end-stage angina. You know what? The people who did some gentle exercise got better in terms of quality of life, in terms of life survival and all that. So that's the balance. Where's the balance? It should be your health professional help you to strike the balance. For us, Tai Chi for Health programs, I'm really careful working. Every program I work with specialists, medical specialists, but bearing in mind I'm a family physician that touch all types of medicine, and I work with specialists and exercise specialists like running, occupational therapists, physiotherapists. We work together to work on that balance. So there's no such thing as no risk. You go for a walk, you can fall. But we want to have minimum risk and maximum benefit. And those are the things that the ancient Chinese, no matter how brilliant they are, they didn't have the study. They didn't have those knowledge to do what we did. And that's why Tai Chi for Health is unique and more powerful, including the warm-up exercises. It's been created with lots of care, lots of medical expertise, and lots of Tai Chi that so I guess my conclusion on that is we really careful about balance. We try to do it the safest possible and best benefit possible. Yeah.
We have a hand
Tony?
from Dr. Tony has a hand up.
Go
Me?
ahead.
Yeah.
Dr. Lam, I guess you're talking to me. I can barely hear you. I'm sorry. I've been in this group, your group, for 10 years now. This is my first meeting with you. So it's exciting to actually meet you. because I talk about you to everybody until everybody's tired of hearing from me. My biggest thing is my mother's 96, and I do the warm up with her seated because she wears out really fast. And she's taken my classes for 10 years now, and her balance for a 96-year-old woman is wonderful. I can't keep up with her. And a lot of that has to do with the fact of these warm-ups. I think they're wonderful, but people do get bored with them. So this is why I'm here tonight, is to learn all this. Another thing, while I've got your attention, fall prevention is near and dear to my heart, and I would love to learn more. And I've been on the internet for 10 years trying to learn as much as I can about fall prevention, because there's too many seniors locked up in their home because they're terrified to go out because they will fall. So if there is any way that you can do more for fall prevention, I would so much appreciate it. I think that's all I wanted to say, was but to thank you so much for this. This has been wonderful for me.
Well, Donnie, it's great meeting you. And I love it that your mother stayed with you for 10 years. Usually, it's so hard to get your relative to exercise with you. And that is a huge, huge medal for you, for your working relationships. So I want to say that uh, for preventions, well, Tai Chi for arthritis is our very first program, and we later modified the name to Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, because the world's largest study for falls prevention was funded by New South Wales Health Department, and it involved 640 participants. That's a huge study. And that shows Tai Chi for arthritis reduce the rate of fall for older people in the community by the 67%. That's a huge reduction.
Yes.
And that is one of the major reasons that our government previously, New Zealand government previously, and now USA government so far, spending money to pay to support this Tai Chi for arthritis for falls prevention. It's very unusual in USA to have a program created by non-USA people, even though we did involve USA people, but and has the highest funding for falls prevention. And that goes to say Tai Chi is really not regional, racial, or any discriminative. It's just art for anybody. So it's definitely work in the people we know. So I guess you are teaching Tai Chi for arthritis, and that is the most evidence-based for falls prevention. And the part of the things we talk about warm-up exercise. Now, we're just running nearly out of time, but I like to do one little bit, my extra on the warm-up exercise. I really like this one. So what it is, you combine everything, you balance, and when you breathe out, when you feel your chi sinking down, stable yourself, you allow your joint to open up, and then you expand your body in both sides. This way, next this way, and it's like you have a bubble. Here's the center, you balance, and yet you expand your chi both sides in a way that balance and contain. So that is a wonderful and really most challenging move in the warm-up exercise. Remember, you can always do it visualization, sitting down, and just feeling it without actually. And of course, this is from the original Tai Chi chain style, except we modified it. with the expansion. And I like that contract, that concept, that Tai Chi is where you center, you maintain your center, and you balance, and you stretch your chi, open out to both sides, as though you live in a chi bubble that expand your energy in both sides, maintaining, training your balance. So that's one of the warm-up exercise that's a little challenging and make sure you use a lot of visualization, but it's wonderful to do that. I think it's about time. We have to run out. Let's do a photo. Let's do a group photo.
Follow you, Dr. Lam.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh,
We'll follow you.
open close.
Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3. That's our first page. Hang on. Just one more time. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So I just can't tell you how excited I am that all you are here. I have in my mind that the people whose small experience, who's really interested in Tai Chi and really interested in the arts. In other words, the more advanced people are the people who's here, not the people who missed the beginning 10 minutes. So that's Tai Chi, it can be so easy and yet it can be so interesting. And that's why I don't get bored, Ronnie don't get bored, and Pat don't get bored with doing the feeling explaining. So thank you for being here. And remember, we're going to send you a recording of this. And of course, come to the next one and give your suggestions. If you have topics that we will try to cover every topic.
Thank you, everyone. And I'll just also mention that in June, we take a break from our monthly forums while we all gather this year in North Carolina. And I think Ernie might want to share quickly about or Pat might want to share quickly about the registrations.
Well, I'll let
We've extended the registrations for June for one more day through tomorrow, Sunday, the 4th of May. So there's still time if you have not yet registered for June at Lake Junaluska. That would be for the weekend pre-conference 2 days or for the week-long workshops. There's still a chance to do that, or if you want to add something, you can do that. So please check the website, and we're going to keep that open for one more day. There's so much excitement. Be good to see all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. This will be my 51st annual workshop, counting Sydney and USA. And I'm really excited with this place, with this time. The world doesn't seem to be more peaceful or more harmonious. And I think we can contribute to bring more harmony and care into this world. I think we all needed it more. I'm certainly looking forward to see you. I think quite a few of you are going to be here, and that's the highlight of my time. Pat, do you want to say something?
I'm so excited about June because we are, I think we're at record enrollment, or we're at least approaching any former record enrollment. And it's a lovely, lovely place, very serene. And it is not college dormitory beds, which people are very excited about, that you can pick your kind of housing. And there's different levels, but it's hotel, motel, campground, bunk bed. But most of us are in the hotel or motel setting. There's a historic inn on the property. There's a meditation dock, a lakeside pool. I mean, it's just going to be a wonderful, rejuvenating time to connect with each other again.
Absolutely. Most importantly, all the great instructors are going to be there. So I'm going to officially conclude this forum, but you're welcome to stay another 5 minutes. Again, hello and welcome everybody. The topic this month is exploring the depth of the 1, 2, 3 warm up and cooling down exercises. And that's really nice to see you here because for all of us who teach Tai Chi, especially Tai Chi for health systems, there's always people who have question about warming up exercise, and a lot of people think it's just a boring part of the Tai Chi, which actually, in a way, that's true. That is why I spent a year working with people to create the 1, 2, 3 warm up and cool down exercise, because I used to think warming up was boring, and so essentially we created it so it's really have many layers of depth. And if you think about what we do, the Tai Chi for Health, the things that I do working with my teams is over the years we work on Tai Chi. I learned a lot about Tai Chi, and I'm really interested in the depth and the width of Tai Chi. So I learn different styles, different forms, and I practice it every day. And my my hope was to find what was the real magical thing in Tai Chi, what make it so enjoyable and so beneficial. And sometimes different style, different forms allow you to look at things from different perspective. And so Tai Chi for Health programs is essentially using the most effective forms put in the most logical Tai Chi way sequence, and make it so it's easy to learn, it's enjoyable to practice, and brings health benefit quicker. And so that should also do the same for the warm-up exercises, not the traditional warm-up exercise, just stretching. And that's how, that's my goal to creating it. And after we created it, certainly we have found layers of depths, and we're going to talk about that. And then after Ronnie talk about it first, then Pat will talk about it, and then I will sum up and give you my thought as well. And I also want to let you know that Ronnie's talk and mine are here impromptu, so we're not going to be exactly the same as the recordings, but we're going to send you the recordings of everything, or mostly everything anyway. So you will receive the recordings and you can look at it again in case you miss anything. So if you prefer not to write notes, that's okay, because you're going to get the recording. But if you feel better to write notes, that's also okay. Whatever that's comfortable to you. So I think I'm going to start with introducing the team, and I'm going to start with introducing Ernie. Ernie is as you I see a lot of familiar faces. You all know her. She really helped everybody and organized this forum together. And this is very early in the morning, right, Ernie?
Yes, it's 2 a.m. Actually here in the US. It's good to see everyone. If you have questions or comments, please put them into the chat box, And when it's time for the questions and answers, we will try to get around to everyone. So enjoy this session.
Thank you. Thank you, Annie. And yeah, big welcome to Sasi from India, Yoki, Jolie, Astrid, Marilyn, Trevor. Wow, it's great to have you. Julie, Pauline, Eleanor, who else I haven't? Well, oh yeah, Helga. Yes, it's always good to have you attending both. Sharon and Irene. I think that's all in my page. Anyway, if I miss you, it doesn't mean you're less important. It's just that somewhere my visual field have a gap somewhere. Uh, okay, so we're going to start with Ronnie. Uh, right? Everybody's here? Okay. Um, Go ahead.
Okay, hello and welcome. So lovely to be here with you tonight in Melbourne time or morning, wherever you might be. I'm absolutely delighted to share some of my ideas of what I've been learning from doing the warm-ups again and again and again. These warm-ups, I think, have been around for maybe 15 years. And I, at a rough estimate, have probably practiced the warm-ups 10 times a week for the last 15 years. I did some quick maths earlier. That's 7,800 repetitions of these warm-up exercises. So why am I not bored to tears? I think that as we start to explore the warm-ups, we'll realize that they're just the same as the Tai Chi. The philosophy that holds the Tai Chi holds these warm-ups. And what is one of that philosophical stance is it brings us into the present moment. We have never done these warm-ups before with these particular conditions, with this body I have right now, with, right here, right now. So if we approach the warm-ups with curiosity, with that exploration, then the warm-ups just have so many layers within them. If you look at the theory of flow, flow talks about how does boredom arise. If our skills are too developed and we're not being challenged enough, boredom arises. So we know the warm-ups really well. So how do we challenge ourselves so the boredom doesn't arise? So I'll give you a few ideas of what I've been exploring, and I'm sure you've got some fabulous ideas that you've been exploring in your classes as well. So I will invite you to move. I have no idea what sort of shoulders, hips, knees you have. Please take care of yourself as we move. You're the experts of you. You know what feels right. You're welcome to join in seated or in standing. I'm going to stand. So let's begin. I'll invite you to join me. Okay. As we stand, just checking that I don't have any obstacles around me I might trip over. Good. So we know that the first warm-up is to walk around, extending and relaxing our hands. Because we're on Zoom, we can walk on the spot, but I'd like you to focus on the extension. Can I get equal gaps and spaces between my fingers with the extension and the relaxation? Do I tend to do this with my shoulders? Can I keep the shoulders, elbows, and wrists nice and relaxed and just extend and relax, either walking or just moving on the spot? Fabulous. All right, let's dive straight into our first exercise. So it is for the neck. We need to check our posture. So our feet are shoulder width apart. Our hips, knees, and ankles are all going the same direction. And I've just softened in the hips, in the knees, and in the ankles. Because I'm from Australia, I do like to use some imagery in Australia to keep the posture upright. I imagine we're a kangaroo and we're sitting on the tail of the kangaroo. If you're sitting on the tail of a kangaroo, your pelvis will be parallel with the floor. Let's start with our neck. So we look down. Very gently, we bring the arms to shoulder height. We turn the hands, we tuck our chin in. We turn. We lower our neck, watching the fingers. Okay, that's what we've been doing all along. I would like us to consider our arm as like a seesaw. You know, children play on a seesaw. One child sits on one end of the seesaw and the other end goes up, and then it balances. So imagine your shoulder is the seesaw. If I relax my shoulder down, the other end of the seesaw floats up. So let's try again, thinking about the shoulder, sinking, relaxing down, and that's what brings the arms up. Okay, so neck looking down. So relax the shoulders. Can you feel? That's what brings the arms up. Beautiful. Turn, sinking the elbows, tucking our chin in. Turn, gently pushing forward and lowering our neck and our arms. Let's try that again. Relax the shoulders, lovely soft hands, soft fingers. Turn, hands into the chin. Gently push. Wonderful. Keeping the awareness on the body. Let's do last one. Relax the shoulders, soft fingers. Good. Turn. Sink elbows, tuck the chin in. Turn. Push forward. And lower our neck. Down. Second one for the neck. Both arms rise. I'll be a mirror. Turn your left hand over and the right hand comes down near your hip. So we're only going to turn 70% of our capacity. Awareness in your neck and moving back. I like to alternate the arms very consciously. Good. Turning our neck only about 70% of our capacity. And back. Great. Changing over. So I imagine I push down through the hand at my hip, through the Lao Gong point. So when we have a gentle push down, the elbow is still bent a little, gently push down and turn, you might feel your stomach, your back, your core becoming involved. Excellent. Change our hands over. So connecting that Lao Gong down near the hip, turning our neck, and coming back. Good. Last one either side. Go about 80% of our capacity. How does the neck feel? Turning this way. Right. Change. How does the neck feel? Turning this way. Fabulous. Let's move down into the shoulders. We connect the fingers beside the thighs. That's your gallbladder meridian there. So we're going to roll the shoulders forward, and it means our third finger is drawing circles on our thighs. Let's start with that forward roll. Try to feel the full rotation of the shoulders. Circle. Great. The elbows are not initiating the action. It is a shoulder exercise. Fabulous. Let's try back the other way. Feeling the full rotation of the shoulder joint. Good. Letting the fingers touch the thighs. That encourages the action from the shoulders and not from the elbows. Beautiful, and relax. I always like to finish with the backward rotation, and we end up with beautiful posture. If we finish with the forward rotations, we generally end up with quite poor posture. All right, second one for the shoulders, a little wider in our stance. Palms are up and gathering the chi, arms around, a big ball in front. And then we sink into the hips, into the knees, into the ankles, and the hand lowers. I imagine I rotate my thumbs out. Good. Feeling that roundness, arms rise. And the arms are quite far away here. And when I sink down, sinking down into the legs, letting the arms float down. Thumbs out. Arms rise. So keep space under your armpits. Arms out here. Excellent. And lower. Let's try it a different way and see why I like to have my arms out further. If we bring the arms up and we keep the arms close by, can you feel you're a little bit stuck? There's not much space under your armpits, and you just feel a little stuck. And that's why it is much better to always song the joints, extend, so it's a more forward action. Good. Okay, moving to our spine. Let's have our left hand on top, right hand underneath. Heaven and earth, so we have the bottom hand up. Feel that martial arts block pushing up to the heavens if that's comfortable, and down to the earth, either in front or beside. We come back. I like to feel those Lao Gung points connecting closer. Bottom hand up. And up and down. So we know that this is for our spine. I love a good visual for this warm-up. I have my jacket here. So it's a black one, sorry. But the idea is that the spine is pulling up at the top, but the base of the spine down here is pulling down. So if you're stretching up and stretching down, can you see if this was my spine, I'm stretching and relaxing. Both sides, the bottom hand pulls down and the top hand pulls up. That's what we're doing in these warm-up. We're feeling that lovely double stretch. So let's try one more each side to feel that lovely double stretch. Up and down. That's much better. Fantastic. Come back. Final one. Up and down. Top hand of the ball. We're going to turn the nose and the navel. When I do that, the arms follow just to your leg. Roll over. Turning the nose and the navel. And roll. Just check yourself. We don't want the knees turning. We don't want the ankles turning. Feeling that loose turn of your spine. It's a very small turn in your spine. From side to side. That looks really good. Roll the ball. Turn. And roll. Last one. Turn. And roll back to the center. Well done, everyone. Shaking out. So that's the upper body of our warm-ups, which is what we'll be focusing on today. So again, it's just to scatter some information that may resonate with you. Fantastic, take it on board. If you try it in your body and it doesn't feel right for you, just let it go. That's fine. So it's just something that some of the concepts that I've been exploring in my own body as I'm practicing the warm-ups, and there's so many layers for you to explore. So well done. Thank you, everyone. Well, you're on mute, Paul. You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Is that better?
Yes. Good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ronnie. That was great. And I forgot to introduce Ronnie. You were the very first Tai Chi for Arthritis workshop. And I think I started with 3 days and then we cut down to 2 days. And now with the self-preparation package, we're able to do it for 1 day if people prepare really well. But nonetheless, um, the warm-up exercise took about a year to develop, and we haven't really changed except we discover more and more depth. And it's really nice. I didn't introduce to you that Rani is also an occupational therapist, that she now mostly do master trainer training other instructors. But you can just feel in her talk just now that she's very sort of using her occupational therapist perspective, that giving us some really practical and really useful ideas. So the next speaker is Pat. Pat Lawson. Interestingly, it's totally coincidental, but when I start bringing Tai Chi for health overseas, the first country I went to will be USA, and the very first workshop Pat organized for me. So she has been doing martial arts and Tai Chi for probably as long as I've been doing it. Well, maybe not as long. I think I'm a bit older than she is, but she have a lot of experience in martial arts, the Chinese martial art, and she have lots of experience in having arthritis and injuries. And she's educationist, she's a teacher as well. So she bring a lot of her experience into Tai Chi for health. So it would be interesting to hear her perspective. So I'm going to share screen with you. Let me see, hope I can do this right without my technical support. So I'm going to share here, and then I should share. Oh, wait a minute. Let me start again. Stop sharing. I missed something. Let me do it again. Share, and then I want to optimize the sound and the video clip, and then I'm going to share this screen. And now I just have to find the file, which I think is here. That was really great. Ronnie's was more practical and precise and show us the movements and the feelings, whereas Pat's have more theoretical, imagery, general sort of talk. And of course, you can see the recording of that. Let me just go back to the reasons why we do warm-ups. The number one reason is to bring it in to avoid injury. And the second thing is that when we do the warm up, the way we constructed it kind of start bringing us to a phase, to a place where you're ready to cleanse your mind, forget the outside world, and start working on your Tai Chi. And as I mentioned, the whole idea of Tai Chi for health is to make Tai Chi more accessible, bring more benefit and safer. And in that, if you really look at Ronnie and Pat's talk, they both talking about how to express or use the Tai Chi principle with the warm up. And just to let you know, this morning we have so much interest in the talk that uh, we decided we're going to have a second session of this as well for the next forum. So just to remind you, the next month, our forum start at the first Sunday of the month. Next month is June, and we missed the June and January one because that's the annual workshop. January is in Sydney, June is in USA, and so the next forum will be July, and that the topic. Originally, I had this topic of how to improve your Tai Chi, and I was going to do it in 3 sessions. But anyway, the warm up and the cool down exercise are so intriguing, and so well, I think that we decided to push that further. And the next in July, the forum will be the second part of the warm up and cool down exercises. And yeah, sure. But and it's to explore it further. So what I like to do too on my conclusion is also the cooling down exercises. Remember the warm up cooling down exercises, we call it 1, 2, 3. And the origin of that, it was when my daughter was much younger. She's over 40 now. And when she's much younger, I think she was about maybe 11. And she said to me, Dad, your stuff are so complicated. Nobody understands. That's against, of course, Tai Chi for health. So I always listen to her with seriously. So I asked her, sweetie, what is easy to do? She said, that like 1, 2, 3. So I got it. 1, 2, 3. So 1 is walking around to activate your muscles in your body, your heart. And 2 is to stretch each part of the body all the way down. And 3 is cooling down exercises. So the warm-up exercise follow the Tai Chi principle, so as the cooling down exercises. And the cooling down exercise, again, is to prevent injury, but also study has shown that when you do cooling down exercise well, it actually helps you to retain what you did in that exercise session. So that's the warming up put us in the right space. The cooling down is help to retain and understand it more. And there's only 3 cooling down exercises. So we'll do that when I finish my talk. Can you hear me okay? So what I like to do, Pat talk about this move, the stretching of the hip. And in this morning session, I also talk about that move as one of my favorite and explain how you stretch your body, a double stretch principle, maintaining your center, sinking your chi, and then stretch as though sort of in a sphere of energy field around you. So I'm not going to say the same thing again, but you have to look at the recording. What I'm going to do is going to work on the one aspect is the breathing. Now, you all would have seen I talk about Dantian breathing. Breathing is really important. Breath is life. So the Dantian breathing can be a great thing to start right from the beginning. When your hands up, it's an in breath. When the deliver force push towards you, it's an out breath. And pushing out is an out breath. And then bringing down is an out breath. So whenever you get the energy, it's an in breath. Whenever you deliver energy, it's an out breath. And in all Tai Chi forms, you always have the in breath, which is normal, even without effort. We always breathe in to get the energy and breathe out. With the Tai Chi, the Dantian breathing, the breathing involves the diaphragm as well. So when we breathe in, we also push the diaphragm down, so allow more air into lung. And to do that, we imagine there's a hole here below your belly button. And when you breathe in, you expand your as though this balloon. Your air is coming to here and you expand. So it gently open up this part of the lower abdomen. And that allow, by doing that, that bring the diaphragm down, allow more air to your lung. And then when you breathe out, track your pelvic floor muscle. Feel as though your chi is sinking, and at the same time, gently breathe out. So that contracting pelvic floor muscle, keeping your body upright, and allow your joint to open, and allow your mind to be clear. That create a perfect situation to stimulate this parasympathetic nervous system to enhance healing. It also create a really good environment for the chi to grow. And as well as that, when you contract the pelvic floor muscles, body upright, it strengthens the deep stabilizers and make us stronger from inside, from the back inside. So you can, whenever you can think of, that's an in breath, and as you breathe out, contract your pelvic floor muscles and push as though pushing against gentle resistance. And then do a gentle in breath and then an out breath as you push out, as though again pushing against gentle resistance. And a quick in breath, breathing out, contract your pelvic floor muscles. And the other one I really like is this. Breathing out, contract your pelvic floor muscles, and let go. Breathing in, feel the breathing. And being mindful with your body upright, bend your hip and your knee so that your body is still upright, your joints are open. And so all those principles that we use, be sure you understand that you cannot do everything, cannot be mindful of all the principles. If you just work one thing at a time, being upright, doing it slowly, gradually your body will acquire it, and then you do more together. But our mind and body being the way it is, we always think of other things. That's quite okay. As long as you bring it back and be mindful of one of the principles at one time, be mindful of the breathing once in a while, that would be really all you need to be effectively improve your Tai Chi. So I think that would be a good time for questions. Yes. So if Ernie's going to monitor the questions, but anyway, there's not many people here. So you lift up your hands and unmute yourself, and then we can talk among ourselves. Any question from me or Rani or Pat, I can help. We can help to answer for her. So I'm going to change the view. How do I change the view? I'm going to change it to the group view so I can see everybody. Gallery view. Okay. Anybody like to ask a question or give any comments? Yes. Yes, Yuki, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you very much. I just wanted to say that I incorporated a breathing, like you said. So I prompt each warm-up movements, the breathe in, breathe out. And ever since I started doing it, I see a big difference in how people do warm-ups. So it was before, it was different people do in different pace. Some people do it faster, some people do it slower. But now the whole class is doing in the same pace and more in a Tai Chi way. So yeah, I thought the breathing is just it's more effective than I say to slow down. The people just slow down at the right pace. So I just wanted to share this. Thank you.
Thank you. That's brilliant. And you know, a lot of the thing about Tai Chi is instead of telling people slow down, is by doing it and to help people to do it with internal intention. And then you can see there's something. You can see the inner energies, and you can see that you also communicating, and that's how people sort of more uniform, like Yuki saying. Yeah.
Can I add something about the breath?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
so I think I loved Yuki suggestion about the breath, but I guess just with a little warning attached that we don't know everyone's lung capacity, so we can invite people to breathe with us, but do just add that little bit about, you know, breathe at your own pace if you need to, because some people try so hard. They want to be just like us, and they, you know, really trying hard. And if their lung capacity isn't the same as ours, then they might get a bit lightheaded or something like that. So I think it's a terrific idea, so long as we put some parameters around it, that invitation, but, you know, let people breathe as they need to.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rani. And I think someone else lift your hand. Of course, you all welcome to lift your hand, but there is a gesture somewhere that you can click to lift your hand, and then the software move you to the top. But anyway, I can see another lift your hand. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Click unmute yourself. And
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Well, I have a question. My first part of the warming up, well, I have the idea, of course, people come in their car, they have been sitting a long time, so they need to let the blood flow start up and everything. But I mostly say when we start, well, move your joints in general. So I start with my fingers, but then I start moving around. And some people are doing belly dances and things like this, which is fun. So is that okay, or is it too much, perhaps for the beginning?
Well, you really can't stop people, but I generally just like something much more quieter. Just walk around smiling and be with it. But if people start dancing, well, there's always somebody who does that. And they usually are people who's comfortable with it. and
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop them
No,
unless people
okay.
doing something that look like high risk. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
sure. Yeah.
Dr. Lam, I can remember when I started Tai Chi, I think in 2008. And even when in the early days of going to beautiful Sydney and Brisbane with you to have our wonderful week or even weekends sometimes. And it was wonderful to learn the warm-ups and the cool downs. And I can remember as time went on, I would think, well, this is a bit boring. I know this so thoroughly and I really like it, but I don't need to do it all the time. And I look back now and think, oh, Beverly, what a disgusting attitude. And now, after what is that, 17 years, even if it's just in the backyard, at home, or down by the creek, in the bush, and whether it's by myself or with a small group or a little larger, I just love to do those things, both the warm-ups and the cool downs. And sometimes when I feel I'm a bit busy, I think, oh, well, I'll just do it once. I'll just go through it once this time. But as soon as one does that, then you're into it and you're relaxing and you're getting in your Tai Chi zone, and you just automatically really want to do it for 3 times. And same with the cool downs. And I truly love them. And also when giving a class, and even just having a session with some students who've been with me for a long time, I can get a little bit nervous and a bit anxious about, even though I might have it all written down, what I want to do today, but I'm not quite relaxed about it. And so by doing those warm-ups, it all just falls into place after that, because you're with your Tai Chi. So I just think it's a wonderful thing. So thank you. And thank you for the other other speakers. It's just beautiful.
Thank you, Beverly. That's really lovely. Definitely, I think the reason I noticed many of you are quite experienced Tai Chi practitioners, and I'm really happy to see you here because, I think that's how we, as we do more, as we know more, the more we appreciate the depth of the simple things. And I think that's what Tai Chi is so fascinating. And I love what you say, Beverly, except I disagree with you. You never be disgusting. You're always beautiful.
Ronnie, did you have a comment to interject here?
No, not really.
We have Sally. Sally has her hands up. Sally, do you have a question? Do you like to ask Dr. Lam or Ronnie?
Go ahead.
Hello? Hi, great talks. Thank you very much. And I think it was Ronnie that talked about incorporating the principles. And what I've been doing with some of my more experienced classes is going through the 10 principles of Tai Chi, which we've gone over in these seminars before. So I'll take one principle per week. And I've found that I can really, they can grasp it better in the warm-up exercises, because they're not trying to think about what move next or where my hands are on things. But in the warm-ups, because we're that much more static, you can really really, they can feel the principles so much more. So I just wanted to share that. That's really worked for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I certainly, it took, something seemingly simple. It took me and the team a year to put that together. And it really is a form of Tai Chi, and that's why the principle works so well, and it's not boring. I mean, I've been doing Tai Chi for nearly 50 years now. A month ago, I went to my 50 years medical graduate reunion, and I started Tai Chi soon after that. So it's coming to 50 years. Um, and I do the warm-up exercises even before I put it out to the Tai Chi for Health programs. But it did take a while to put it together, refine it. And I haven't been bored of it, and I do that all the time before I do my daily practice. Yvonne, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I would like to share an experience with the warm-ups, and it's the first one. It's the stretching of the joints in the finger and going around in the room and looking one another in the eyes. And sometimes Swiss people are very serious, very tension in bodies because they want to do everything very well and so on. And then when they change their clothes, blah 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 in the room, clothing room, also for changing clothes, they come in the classroom. They are very serious, very silent and looking. And then I start with this first exercise, and they got an insight and a breathing. They got a relaxation inside. They get a relaxed face with a smile, and they completely change. And that's so interesting because first, when I learned these exercises, I always was a little bit shamed to go around, look the people in the eyes. Yeah, this shameness sometimes when you have contact with other people. That's a beautiful way to breathe, to relax, to smile, and to socialize somehow. So it's very important. So I love it.
Thank
And
you.
people love it too.
That make me feel we're quite successful in doing that, because one of the main purpose is to put us in the right place, the place for Tai Chi, to keep other things outside, and to connect with people. Life is all about people, and that just walking around smiling and to people to connect. And I think that's so important, that the Tai Chi community gave everybody extra strength. Hugo, please go ahead.
Yeah, just further to what Yvonne was just saying, I also do that. I say to people, you have to smile at each other. It's, it's obligatory to smile. But what I also add, if there are new people in the group or just for myself, I say, and say your name. And then people just go around and say, oh, I'm Helga, and that also helps me to remember all the names eventually.
Right. Yeah.
I'd like to
Myra?
add to that. Yeah, I'd like to add to that of what Yvonne was saying. When I have my groups indoors, I say we're going to use our fingers and everything, and we're going to use our facial muscles, meaning smiling. And everyone goes around and looking at each other. And just like Helga said, if there's anyone new, then they're always looking at them and what's your name and all this. So I like that one too. That was just a little.
Thank you. Great. We should take a photo. We can still ask one more question, but let me do a photo first. I got two screens. So everybody, if you look at the camera, look in front of you, but do open close, and then when I say 1, 2, 3 on 3, press the button. But let me see, where's the button? Oh, okay, I know. Here, print screen. Okay, one. I only have one hand. The other hand, I have to press the button. 1, 2, 3. Oops, wait. Not so straightforward. Okay, do it again. Get ready to smile. And 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I'm going to page 2. Repeat the same thing. Some of you are in 2 pages, so keep smiling. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. Wait, and press the wrong button. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you. Thank you. So handy to Evan running this. But it's wonderful talking to you. Would anyone like to have more comments or questions before we go? Perhaps you also want, since we're going to extend this in 2 months' time, you have more questions, do write to us and we'll bring trying to find the answer for that. Yeah, now we still got a let's stay for another couple more minutes.
I can remind everyone will get a video recording link within several days, so you can view it again.
Yes, I did forget the cooling down exercises, but it's on the recording, so you can see that I did do that. Okay, well, I'm going to officially conclude this forum. Let me just go back to this page, and I hope to see you, some of you in June workshop. And if you like to stay for a couple more minutes, you're welcome to. I won't stay too long because if you can get to the Australian television, you can go to ABC in 1 hour's time. It's called iView. ABC iView have a special program called Piano. And that program, my daughter is featured. So I'm going to have a quick dinner and come back and watch her on ABC, which is our national television. But yes. So yeah, feel free to go or to stay for a couple more minutes. And I'll see you a couple months or before that.